One big question I get is how can you get really, really confident as a hypnotherapist, whether you're starting or you want to improve your skill? And while there's a few different things you can do, not only, lifetime of experience for it definitely helps, and seeing more paid clients. And notice I said the word pay, not free. It's very, very hard to get to be a confident therapist if all you're doing is giving away free sessions, but actual paid sessions. To become really, really confident, if there was one thing I would rely on, guys, it's beyond just, not prepping and not worrying about suggestions and all that sort of thing. It would be this: learn how to investigate a client's problem. I've said this so many times in videos. And what's crazy is we have our live ACH training, which is a 3-day training. We spend nearly 3 days just learning this part here, because this is the most important part. You can have the best regressions, you can tell the best stories, you can have the best revivs, you can have the best visualizations in the world. But if you're doing it from the point of view of the wrong problem, which is the symptom, what's the point? All in all, the best thing you can do to become really, really confident is learn how to investigate a client's problem. Ask the right questions. Listen for unconscious moments. Watch for things that aren't unconscious moments. Learn how to decipher the difference between conclusions and also real root cause problem. This is a skill in itself. And again, it's what we teach in our ACH training. And that's why we have students right now that can do like a $2,500 stop smoking sessions in 15 minutes. They can help treat childhood trauma from 20, 30, 40 years ago, of 20, 30, 40 years of trauma and abuse, and get it done in about half an hour or so. And we've documented these things. You can see the testimonials, you can see the videos. I'm not just saying this to sort of hype this all up. This is true. And if you're wondering how the hell are they doing that so quickly, this is why. You need to understand the principles. You need to understand that this hypnotic interview and understanding the real root cause is the sole key, is like the holy grail of becoming a great therapist and being known out of the industry, okay? So if there's one thing I could rely on to become a really confident hypnotherapist, remember these things. 95% of what your client tells you is a conclusion. You don't have to listen to it. The other thing you need to learn is to decipher the difference between conscious information, which is just a guess, and unconscious information, which is the real root cause, the real golden juicy stuff that you need to hear as a therapist in order to break and untie those knots. But also realize that when you ask a client what their problem is, they are going to tell you their conclusions. They're going to tell you what they think the problem is. And as long as you remember those couple of things going into a session, you'll notice a dramatic speed, like the dramatic evolution and speed of your therapy, because it's going to go a hell of a lot quicker. Most therapists, coaches, NLPs in general, spend so much time spinning around the symptom. If you're having to see your client more than once or twice or 3 times or 5 times, I even having to see a stop smoking client for 12 sessions. Why? The only reason that can exist is because you're spinning around the symptom. When a client says, I want to quit smoking, remember, that's their conclusion. That's not the real problem. So what are you going to prep for? You're not prepping for a stop smoking session because you're not resolving the smoking in the first place. So always keep that in mind. These are really big mindset shifts as a therapist. To be confident, guys, remember those things. Conclusions. Get by the conclusion. Learn to decipher the difference between conscious and unconscious information, and you'll see your transformations in your client happen like lightning speed, okay? And guys, if you want to learn how to do this, just go to the link below. We have our 3-day live training coming up next year. Highly recommend you do it. It'll change the very career of you as a therapist, not only learning how to sell this thing at a very high price and becoming a very high price therapist, but in order to get those half an hour to hour transformations, regardless of the problem, which is really where all the power is. All right, guys, I hope that helps.